Chapter 17. Continued battle at Hulao Pass. Qin Shubo spurred his horse forward, his two spears like dragons. He shouted loudly, "Wang Shizong, come out and die." From the opposite side, Wei General Zhang Shaozhong carried a 50-pound saber and charged forward. The two sides exchanged 100 moves as soon as they met, swords and spears sparking, the sound shaking the entire battlefield. Cheng Xiaojin was not willing to be outdone. He swung his hammer, and 3 cavalrymen fell with broken chests. He roared loudly, "Xiaojin is here! Who dares to stop him?" Horses neighed, blood spurted, and Wei soldiers fell one after another. La Sheng held a golden bow in his hand and shot 10 shots in a row, and 10 Wei generals fell. Each arrow flew out like a silver dragon tearing the sky. No one could avoid it. Illusion and bloodshed suddenly. Dark clouds gathered. The wind blew. Strange smoke billowed from Wang Shizong's battlefield. Cheng Yaojin was fighting fiercely when suddenly his eyes blurred, and he saw Qin Shubo in front of him turn into an enemy. He swung his hammer, almost hitting his friend's head. Luo Cheng shouted loudly, "Be careful. This is a demonic magic." At that moment, in the clouds of smoke, countless fake figures appeared. Some looked exactly like Qin Shubo, and some turned into Cheng Xiaojin, waving spears, swinging hammers, and killing indiscriminately. The Tang army started to slash at each other, screaming miserably. La Cheng gritted his teeth, used his eyesight, and clearly saw a black flag with a coiled snake printed on it in the smoke. He immediately raised his bow and shot an arrow that tore through the air. Swoosh! The arrow hit the heart of the Zhuan Feng Taoist. He howled, spitting out blood and falling. The poisonous smoke gradually dissipated, and the illusion disappeared. Oath of blood. When the sky cleared, the Tang army realized that they had almost killed each other by mistake. Cheng Xiaojin held his head and laughed bitterly. "My hammer almost took the life of a brother." Qin Shubo patted his shoulder. "It is because of this ordeal that we know each other's loyalty. If we live and die together, we vow to be sworn brothers forever. Like mountains that will never wear down, rivers that will never dry up." The 3 of them cut their blood and swore an oath in the middle of the battlefield. The wind blew the flags fluttering. The blood mixed with the wine, and they drank it all in one gulp. La Cheng also stepped forward, knelt down, and said, "We are willing to go through life and death with you, even if it takes 1,000 lifetimes." The 4 of them looked at each other, laughing loudly in the battlefield, their eyes shining like fire. The evil has not yet disappeared in the distance. In the camp, Wang Shizong saw the illusion broken, angrily threw the wine cup to the ground. But he quickly regained his composure and said, "You think you've won? Not yet. I still have one more move, Heaven and Earth Net, enough to make your souls fly away. This Hulao Pass, I will definitely not let it fall into Li Tang's hands." Chapter 7 ended in smoke and fire and blood of brotherly oaths. But Wang Shizong's deep and treacherous schemes were still thick, like clouds covering the sky. Chapter 18. The Heavenly Net and Earthly Net. Blood-stained Hulao Pass. The conspiracy has not ended in the Sui camp. Wang Shichong slammed his hand on the wooden table, his eyes blazing. What if one Zhuan Feng Taoist priest is lost? I still have countless experts, countless battle formations. Today I will set up the Heavenly Net and Earthly Net, covering the sky and locking the earth, to see if any of the Tang invaders can survive. Besides, Cheng Dinggang, a cousin of Cheng Xiaojin, but on the Sui side, bowed. As long as we can invite 8 great monks and Taoists to form a formation, the energy of heaven and earth will turn into chains, and the enemy soldiers will fall into it like fish in a net. Fire in the eastern sky. The next day, the blood-red sun rose above the mountain peak. Tang flags fluttered. Qin Shubao, Cheng Shujin, Luo Sheng, Luo Zeng, and Luo Chun all stepped out to the front of the battle. Qin Shubo held his twin spears, his voice thunderous. Wang Shizong, a true man, come out to fight. Don't use evil magic to harm innocent people. The sound of war drums was intense. Suddenly, from the direction of Hulao City, hundreds of black flags fluttered, printed with the image of a heavenly net spread everywhere. The wind blew and dust covered the sky. Horses neighed loudly, and town soldiers suddenly felt like they were stuck in a quagmire, and their swords and spears felt as heavy as lead. Heaven and earth net, the formation spread out, and the clouds in the sky gathered into a giant net, and a gloomy light enveloped it. La Cheng rode his white horse and shouted, "This is the earth net formation. To break it, we must cut off the 8 pillars of the 8 directions." He spurred his horse. The golden spear swept across. With just one move, the southeast pillar broke apart. Thunder and lightning roared. Zhang Zhaojin shouted, swinging his large axe straight at the west pillar. A hammer fell. The earth and sky shook. All 10 Sui cavalrymen around the pillar were thrown away. Qin Shubao was like a dragon in the clouds, his twin spears stabbed straight. Each move seemed to draw a dragon in the air, piercing into the north pillar. Blood and light burst out like fireworks. Danger in the battle. But the more he fought, the stronger the force of the battle became. From all directions, invisible ghosts rushed out, each holding a sword and spear, just like the 3 heroes. Luo Zeng was terrified. "Brother, that ghost is me." The Tang army was in chaos, beating their shadows until they were covered in blood. At that moment, Luo Cheng shouted loudly, "Don't be afraid. This is just a heart demon transformed by the battle formation. Keep your heart steady, and the demon will disappear." He raised his head, let out a roar like a dragon's roar. The golden spear swept a circle of light, and immediately the 3 ghosts disappeared. "Unity breaks the formation," Qin Shubao shouted. "Brothers, let me open the way. You guys support." His twin spears spun like 2 silver dragons, tearing apart the net in the sky. Zhang Zhaojin swung his hammers 3 times in a row, and the earth and rocks shattered. Luo Cheng, Luo Zeng, and Luo Chun galloped their horses like lightning, their spears and swords piercing the pillars. After 4/4 of an hour, all 8 pillars were broken, and the net of heaven cracked. A loud explosion shook the heavens and earth, and the heaven and earth net shattered into thousands of rays of light, and then went out. Brothers' oath, the smoke cleared, and the 3 heroes, along with Luo Cheng, Luo Zheng, and Luo Chun, stood in the middle of the battlefield, their armor stained with blood, but their eyes were shining. Qin Shubao held his spear and said in a deep voice, "We brothers have now entered life and death together, with one heart and one mind, living and dying together." Zhang Zhaojin laughed heartily. "Who dares to say that the world has no heroes? From now on, the 6 of us, no matter how bloody the wind and rain, will not leave each other." La Cheng raised his spear to the sky, the steel gleaming like a shooting star. "With one spear here, I swear to be righteous, not to let down the people." The shouts echoed in unison, drowning out the sound of war drums, drowning out the cries. The enemy's view. From afar, in Hulao City, Wang Shichong's face turned pale. He gritted his teeth. These fierce generals are truly extraordinary. If we let them live, the Sui dynasty will surely be lost. A murderous aura flashed in his eyes, and he whispered, "All right, the formation will not yield. I will use hidden arrows and poisonous tricks." Chapter 19. Deep conspiracy in Hulao, bloody love on the battlefield, a long night before the storm, after swearing oaths on the battlefield. The 4 heroes Qin Shubao, Zhang Zhaojin, Luo Sheng, and Luo Ji, Luo Jing, became as close as hands and feet. In the military tent, the wine had not yet cooled, but outside the gates of Hulao, dark clouds gathered, signaling a new day of slaughter. In the night, Qin Shubao sat in deep thought, holding his spear. The moonlight reflected on his eyes like fire, but in that fire, there was also his own sadness. Missing his hometown, missing his young wife at home, he suddenly sighed. His body is for the country, not knowing when we will be reunited. La Cheng, still young, was moved by the sound. He also harbored a secret love in his heart. Before going to battle, he had met Yang Yu Nge, the beloved daughter of a former general who had retired. She was like the clear moonlight. Her eyes were clear. She had once given him a handkerchief embroidered with lily. Whenever you return, please take this handkerchief as a token. Lei Cheng was silent, tightly holding the handkerchief in his sleeve, vowing that if he survived, he would find her again. Poisonous scheme in the enemy's tent. In Wang Shikong's tent, the atmosphere was stifling. He did not dare to confront her directly, so he devised a dangerous plan. Tomorrow, I will set up a heavenly net and earthly net formation. But the formation alone is not enough. First, I must destroy the hearts of the Tang army. A strategist suggested it would be better to spread the news that La Sheng is originally a traitorous descendant, sowing doubt in Qin Shubao's heart. Once the righteous spirit is broken, even 100,000 soldiers will be reduced to ashes. Wang Shikong clapped his hands in praise, immediately ordering people to spread rumors throughout the battlefield. The battle breaks out. The next morning, trumpets and drums resounded in the sky. Flags and banners filled the horizon. The Tang and Wang armies faced each other. Their shouts were thunderous. Qin Shubao spurred his horse forward, two spears shining like silver dragons. Cheng Xiaojin laughed arrogantly, raised his hammer as heavy as thunder, and with one slash, broke the enemy's spears. Lei Cheng was like a flash of lightning, his long spear drawing 1,000 streaks of light. Each spear stroke was a blooming silver flower. The enemy had not yet seen his face before falling off their horses. In the distance, Wang Shikong launched the heaven and earth net formation. Iron nets were spread across. Wooden stakes were erected densely. Arrows rained down like rain. Rumors divide. In the midst of a fierce battle, a traitor general shouted loudly, "La Cheng is a rebel. Today he will abandon his brothers and surrender." These words were like sharp knives cutting into the hearts of the soldiers. A few soldiers hesitated, their eyes doubtfully looking towards La Sheng. Qin Shubao frowned, his eyes flashed with doubt. At that moment, a group of enemies rushed in, surrounding him. Seeing this, La Fan did not have time to think much. He risked his life to ride his horse through the rain of arrows. The spear in his hand was like a winding dragon, cutting through the encirclement, pulling Qin Shubao out. Blood was pouring on his armor, but his eyes were shining brightly. "Do you still doubt me? If I had betrayed you, would I have risked my life to save you like this?" Qin Shubao looked at him, his heart filled with emotion. He shouted loudly, "Who dares to defame my brother? Qin Shubao will personally crush him." The Tang army once again erupted in cheers. The army's hearts were as steady as a rock. A private love. Amidst the smoke and fire, La Fan secretly touched the handkerchief in his shirt. The figure of Duong Nuyet Nie appeared, her eyes as gentle as the moon shining through the mist. He thought to himself, "If I survive this battle, I will spend my whole life protecting her, protecting my sworn brother." That belief made his spear even more fierce, each move like a hurricane, sweeping away the enemy. Chapter 20. The Great Spirit concludes the final battle of the day. The king's army was pushed back. Under the fiery sunset, the four heroes stood side by side, blood and dust covering their bodies, but their eyes were filled with undying faith. Cheng Jiaojin laughed heartily, carrying his axe. "Today we brothers are no different from heaven, swearing to live and die together. what scheme can break it? Qin Shu Bao extended his hand. Each of them placed their hands on top of each other. Blood, sweat, and faith blended into an iron oath. From then on, the wind of Hulao Mountain carried the heroic song of brotherhood, mixed with the desire for a peaceful day, and also the love waiting in the distance. Dark arrow in the mist, promise under the moonlight, the night stalks. After the day of breaking the plot to divide, the Tang army temporarily quieted down to mend their armor and bandage their spears. But the smell of blood still lingered in the wind, and on the other side of the battle line, Wang Shikong could not sleep. Inside the tent, he called a dark figure, the one known in the martial arts world as Blood Shadow, an assassin who specialized in using poisonous hidden arrows. "Tonight," Wang said, his eyes cold as ice, "your arrow must pierce Li Shimen's heart. If not, then Luo Cheng's heart will do." Blood Shadow lowered his head, his voice like the wind. "One arrow is enough. Dark moon, calm wind." At the third watch, the mist covered the riverbank. Qin Shubao was patrolling. Cheng Xiaojin was sleeping in his armor, and Luo Cheng sat sharpening his spear, listening to the wind rustling like someone's silk clothes. "Yunjie," he softly called her name in his heart, then tightened his grip on the spear shaft. A thin, thread-like snap. Luo Cheng stood up, instinctively sweeping the spear in a circular arc, returning dragon's sweeping tail. Kang, sparks flew out. A hidden arrow pierced the camp stake behind him. A black and purple arrow was so poisonous that it was terrifying. "There's an assassin," Luo Cheng shouted, rushing out like a flash of lightning. The black shadow had already leaped out of the fence, as light as a falling leaf. Qin Shubao heard the sound and rushed forward. Cheng Xiaojin held a hammer in his hand, laughing as he ran. Who dares to disturb the Cheng family in the middle of the night? Chase in the mist. The three chased after him until they reached the dry stream bank. Zhu Ying turned around, flicking a poisonous needle with his left hand and raising a hidden arrow with his right hand. Qin Shubao crossed his twin spears, and the move, Twin Dragons Breaking Clouds, sent the handful of needles flying like a shower of stars. Zheng Jiaojin charged forward with a hammer. Thunder, thunder, opening mountain. The ground and rocks cracked, and Zhu Ying flipped half a meter away. La Cheng dashed in from a blind angle, the spear tip flattering clouds chasing the moon, aimed right at his opponent's shoulder. Zhu Ying released poisonous smoke, and his figure disappeared into the mist. But his arm was numb. The spear tip just touched enough to make his tendons tingle. He chuckled. The hero in the camp is not in vain. Then he jumped into the crevice of the rock. Qin tightened his grip on the spear. He will come again. La Fan looked down at the poisonous arrow, his eyes cold. Wherever it goes, I will kill it.